Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Sade. Thank y'all so much for joining me for our astrology talk. For today, we're going to go ahead and dive into the Mercury retrograde that we have happening from August 23rd all the way until September 15th. Now, before I dive into Mercury retrograde, if you have not seen any of my videos on what the planet Mercury means, as well as the zodiac sign Virgo, go ahead to my channel, Hidden Alchemy, where you can find tons and tons of videos on these different astrological terms that you can dive into before hopping into this video. Now, let's go ahead and dive into this Mercury retrograde because it is a pretty important retrograde. Whenever you're dealing with retrogrades, though, even though this retrograde is from the 23rd of August until the 15th of September, that's a 4-week window that really is actually about an 8-week window. Reason being, you can feel the shift of a planet about a week to 2 weeks before the actual date, especially if that planet is going retrograde because it is slowing down or it is appearing as if it is slowing down. So when Mercury goes direct in around September 15th, you can expect that by the end of September, officially by the first week in October, that you will be in the full clear of the Mercury retrograde energy. Now, the reason that this Mercury retrograde is very important is because Mercury is the planet ruler of Virgo, and this Mercury retrograde will be in the sign of Virgo. Mercury is the planet of communication, and it's really the planet of seamless processing. Mercury likes to make sure that processes run smoothly and seamlessly so we can get the end product. Whenever you're dealing with the sign Virgo, Virgo is all about efficiency. How can we have discipline, organization, and structure so that we can build a product to be its most purest form and to be efficiently used by others? So whenever you're dealing with Mercury in retrograde in the sign of Virgo, as well as Gemini, because Mercury also rules Gemini, but Mercury retrograde in the sign of Virgo, expect everything Virgo related in your chart to need a revision, to need a review, and to really need a magnifying glass. Now, the reason that this can be a little easier than other retrogrades is because this is the natural sign that Mercury is exalted in. Mercury is exalted in the sign of Virgo. So Virgo rules being that disciplinary of looking at the details of things, the organization. Where have you been sloppy in your life? That's what this Mercury retrograde is really asking you. So when you're using this energy, wherever you have Virgo in your chart, this is the time to slow down. Look at where you have Virgo in your chart and see where have you been sloppy in your life in this area. Where do you need to clean things up? Where might you need a little bit more routine? Where might you need to get rid of? Virgo rules the intestines, so it's about getting rid of waste that is not needed so that our body can fully absorb our nutrients and minerals. So use that same element to wherever you have Virgo. Where might you have some loose ends that need to be tied up? Or where might you have some things that are around that are no longer of use? Virgo is all about use and efficiency. So whatever is no longer serving an efficient role in your life, it might be a good time during this retrograde to just clip it out. Get rid of it. Virgo does not like to have anything around that doesn't have a place and that doesn't have use. Now, the reason why this is so important is because this retrograde is happening before eclipse season, and we have 2 eclipses happening in October, both in Venus signs, one in the sign of Libra, one in the sign of Taurus. This retrograde is going to last until the first week in October, ushering us into eclipse season, and Venus is going to go direct at the same time that Mercury officially goes direct as well before we get into eclipse season. So the rest of August, or whenever you're watching this video, the rest of August and definitely all of September is the time to slow down, take a revision over the Virgo and Venus elements in your chart, right? So Venus is retrograde in Leo. So the Virgo and Leo areas of your chart, where do things need to be revised? Where have you missed a few steps? Again, where have you been a little bit sloppy, and where can you pay a little bit more attention so that you can get the efficiency from that house? I know for me, I have Virgo in my 5th house, which is the house of creativity, the house of spending, business, and it's really that season of slowing down. and really evaluating where I have been investing my energy in terms of my creative projects and in terms of business, and how can I tighten some things up to make it more cohesive and efficient. This is also going to apply to wherever you have Venus in your chart as well. I did make a Venus in retrograde video, so go ahead and check that out, because Venus and Mercury are really important planets. Venus deals with our relationships with other people. Mercury deals with how we communicate with other people. So with these two planets retrograding, it's asking you to go within. Where have you not been taking care of yourself in terms of Venus? And where have you not been, taking care of your routines, your rituals, your daily habits, so that you can actually have the lifestyle that you want to have, or the product that you want to create? Just tighten those ends up, because once we get into October and we have those two eclipses, things are going to get switched up and moved up again for the remainder of the year. So I know a lot of times people get really nervous about the idea of Mercury retrograde, but it's not something to really be nervous about. It's a really great time to slow down. And me being Virgo sun, my Mercury is in the sign of Virgo. I'm a Virgo stellium, so I have a lot of planets in Virgo. I'm looking forward to this retrograde so that I could revise a few things. I could seclude myself. Virgo is the hermit. So don't feel weird or feel bad if you are in a space of seclusion. That's Virgo, right? You need to be in that space of seclusion so that you can focus on what you really need to focus on. Clean it up so that when Venus and Mercury go direct, you can really reap the benefit and the reward of what you've been working on and working through during the retrograde season. So I love retrogrades. This Venus retrograde has been great for me. It's been such an eye-opener. And I know that this Mercury retrograde is going to be a little challenging, especially if you are a person that is a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, because this is happening in an earth element. But especially if you are a Virgo, this Mercury retrograde is going to be a little bit of a stickler. So slow down. If things aren't going the way that you planned them to, very Virgo, slow down, revise the plan, go with the flow. Mercury retrograde is the time to go with the flow, because things might not go as planned. And when you go with the flow and allow the universe to really guide you through your process, that's when you really can come up with masterpieces that you didn't even think about before. So take this Mercury retrograde as slow as you can, make it as useful and productive as you can, because things are going to shift once we get into October, y'all. All right, have an amazing Mercury retrograde, and I will see you for our next video.